Hey, what's up guys, Grace here, back with some more Anthem news, and man does this game deliver. Like every single week there's something big coming up, and of course the community always gets up in arms a little bit prior to this. A lot of players are supportive, a lot of other players are not so much. So we're going to go over the latest news, and in case you were not aware, there's some big job listings happening right now at EA, specifically for Bioware. So there's a couple of opened positions over there. I'm going to go over 4 of them because these are pretty important, and we'll set a little bit the pace of what this video is going to be about and what you can expect from Anthem in the upcoming future. So there's a couple of post openings, as I've said, for a senior system designer, specifically for loot, another one for a system designer level 1 with the focus on item creation and design, another one for store and reward pipeline, and finally for combat balance. So all of these are some really important roles right now because these are some of the key areas where the game is seen lacking right now. A lot of players and a lot of people and reviewers have been complaining specifically about these problems, about the loot, about itemization, and of course some of the unrewarding aspects of the game. What this means, well, it can mean a lot of things, but we're going to go over the job listings first, see what they're all about, and then I'm going to give you my 2 cents about it, because a lot of people see this with a bad eye, thinking that this, is bad news. In all honesty, I see this as a good news and a proof that Bioware and Anthem is here to stay. If this doesn't prove that Anthem is going to be here long term, I'm not sure what it is. So if at any point you had any doubts, even more so after the recent debacle with their internal problems and the EA and all of that, well, here is your reassurance. So I'm really excited about this stuff, honestly. Let's start things off with the senior system designer for loot. I'm going to skip all of the introductory pieces. They're more, of a PR talk, so we don't really care about that. What we do care about is what this position is going to be about. So according to it, Bioware is looking for a creative and passionate senior system designer with experience in loot systems to join our studio in either Austin or Edmonton to work on our newest IP, Anthem. And obviously this isn't just for any IP under the Bioware umbrella, it's specifically naming Anthem. So if there was any doubt that this might be for a different game, like for example Dragon Age 4, which is currently maybe or maybe not still under development, well, here is the confirmation. It's for Anthem, as all of the other positions are going to be for Anthem as well. Building a truly great server-side loot system that is scalable, has modern concepts like streak breaking and easily modifiable data formats. A great loot system ensures that the players have predictable experiences that can be measured with data. So at least from one point of view, this looks like good news. I mean, Bioware is looking into improving the loot system. At the moment, I think that simply bumping up the loot drops isn't going to do enough to fix the game. There's going to be a whole lot needed in order to bring things back on track, and just bringing more legendaries and masterworks to the table isn't going to help that much. It's probably going to help you for a couple of days at most, but that's pretty much it. What we're going to do after that, after you already farmed all of the loot that you needed, you're not going to do much because you don't have anything to use it on. Furthermore, the mentioning of streak breaking has me a little bit curious. I'm not really sure what it means in terms of coding a game or creating a game. If any of you guys have an idea of what it means, go ahead and post down below. But what I am assuming right now is that it's mostly referring to breaking a streak of bad luck, for example, like how a lot of games are doing it. When you're playing for a very long time, not getting good loot drops, the game recognizes that pattern and rewards you a better chance at getting better loot over time if you happen to go through one of these periods. Or for example, at the very least, it gives you an incentive to come back after you already made a huge break, and the game rewards you a little bit better loot to hook you a little bit. A lot of fans are seeing this as a good sign. One user said, "I see this as a commitment, they are not pulling the plug," and I agree with that. But on the other side, there's others who are skeptical. And another user said, "Call me old-fashioned, but I usually hire the necessary employees before launching a product, not after." So again, this was a response to all of the internal problems Bioware had in the past few months, and what was brought up to light with the articles from Kotaku, and that is of course with the employees over at Bioware being overworked. If the entire company and all of the employees are overworked, that is a clear sign of understaffing, and I can see why these hirings are made right now. Anyway, moving on to the the other listing, we have the one for item creation and design, and why I'm going over this is because I want to like find out what's Bioware's philosophy behind opening up these positions. So Bioware is looking for a creative and passionate system designer level 1 with experience in item creation to join our studio to work on Anthem. The system designer is responsible for creating a system of optimization that players can understand, but they are also responsible for creating interesting and compelling choices with the combat team. They also ensure that the properties on the items work in the way intended. So 3 strikes over here basically. We have problems with itemizations, with items not being that useful, and 3 with them not working as intended, which is a current ongoing problem with Anthem. For the store and reward pipeline, this one I really wanted to go over because it's a little bit more important. This involves microtransactions because it specifically mentions the store pipeline and the rewards in it. And according to the description, the role handles both store flow and creation, also ensuring not just the data that comes from managing the store, but also the flow of all of the rewards in the game, so that the game has compelling rewards in every avenue offered by the experience. This role also reviews access to the types of items that come in through the pipeline to ensure via data that the players are getting what they want. So it's not just fully focused on the microtransactions, but also in-game rewards. And this is why I said I wanted to go over this section, because it makes me a little bit hopeful that Bioware is not going to succumb to some really predatory microtransaction shit that they would otherwise be pulling if they were, you know, a different company, or maybe if EA didn't go through all of its problems that it had in the past 12 months. So at the very least, this is a good sign in my eye, because they are still trying to bring that level experience and the reward experience for the players without relying on them spending money on the in-game shop. Of course, that is going to be a focus as well, but the listing does mention rewards in the game, so the game has compelling rewards in every avenue offered by the experience. Again, this is, you know, in my eye, at the very least, a good sign. How much time is going to have to pass until this gets implemented, I don't really know, but if you're holding off to play Anthem for now, maybe that's not such a bad idea. If you're still invested in it, then you can continue playing a little bit and drop every once in a while with each incremental update that gets brought up in the game. Lastly, we have the System Designer 2 with the combat balance in mind, and this role is responsible for moment-to-moment tuning of the game, ensuring that the players and monsters' abilities are equivalent in ways players understand. The role will work closely with the item designer to ensure their assumptions about the player power matches the awesome items in the game world, and I'm actually intrigued by the fact that they're using awesome in the sentence. I haven't seen a job listing like this before. Obviously they're playing a little bit over here, so it's not all serious, all full serious mode. They're obviously looking for people who know their stuff, and they do obviously want to improve this game. Now again, what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? As I've said, it means 2 things. First of all, these changes are not going to be immediate. This is going to happen within the next year most probably, and at the very least we're going to see these changes happening over months. Second of all, whatever these positions are, don't expect them to be a complete game changer. Whatever Bioware is doing right now, they are still planning to do it, and they have done so with the community feedback. 4 more people are going to definitely help with that, especially since it's the senior positions, but don't expect anything, you know, too substantial. They still have entire teams behind these problems, behind these projects and systems, so it's not like the entire game is dependent on whatever 4 people Bioware is going to be bringing at their studio. It also means that the game isn't abandoned, that EA, neither Bioware pulled the plug on it, and it's better for you to keep your money and probably drop in the game in about a year from this point, or at the very least 6 months, until there's more content, until there's more fixes, and until a lot of the systems get adjusted to how a looter shooter should be in 2019. I will say though that this only adds fuel to the fire to those who want to hate on Anthem. It's completely out of the ordinary to make hirings after the game has released, and even more so for key areas that should have been, you know, at least thought out way before the game launched. So I can already see a lot of people picking this news up, a lot of people going up in arms about it. I can see the next few days with Anthem again being in the news and being pretty much thrown in the dirt and all of that. But yeah, for somebody like me, this is exciting news. It means that the game is not going to be abandoned and it's going to be moving forward, which is exactly what I wanted to see. Now tell me, what do you think about this news? Comment down below. Do you think this is a good sign or a bad sign? Are you glad that Bioware is not giving up, or do you just want to see this game being buried in the dirt? Comment down below, and in the meantime, a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated, and I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow.